Perfect. I made a table for this one. Hello. If you're watching this video, it's probably because you've heard that organic chemistry is awful. It is definitely one of the hardest classes I've ever taken in my entire college career. So to make a long story short and to keep this intro brief, because I don't think my dog can stay quiet for more than... Okay. If some of these seem really obvious or generic, this video is called How I Passed OChem, not 10 weird, insane tricks to get an A. I want everyone to understand that going into this. These aren't special. I'm not Shroom Shroom. I'm not here to get fun or wacky. These are literally just everything that I did to pass. Which isn't fun, but neither is college sometimes, so. Okay, so. Tip number 1, draw some pretty study sheets. This activity kills so many birds with one stone. Obviously, rewriting your notes helps you memorize them, makes them more organized and thus easier to find and study with, but this is also a very relaxing activity. It feels less like homework and more like art class. These notes saved my ass like every day of my life, and they're also very cute. Do a little bit of your homework every day and avoid cramming. I know this sounds like super generic advice, but if you're like me and you never took that advice for a day in your life and you were always like pretty okay, this is you're the person who needs to hear this. Organic chemistry is not the time to cram. If you fall behind, you cannot catch up. And this is coming from someone who fell behind in every class they've ever taken and somehow caught up. You will not be okay if you procrastinate in this class. Which brings me to the next very generic piece of advice. Don't start making flashcards at the end of every unit or after you've learned a whole bunch of groups and reactions. Make flashcards as soon as you learn them. Like as soon as you leave class, just start memorizing all the junk you need to know as soon as possible. You need to learn so much garbage nonsense for this class. Just get it out of the way. Because on top of having to know all this garbage, you have to know how to apply all of this garbage, right? This is my third one. This is the most important. Study correctly. So, you know that thing where you see the homework problem and you kind of remember that part in class, but you can't remember how to solve it? So you just look at the answer. You think to yourself, oh, okay, this concept makes perfect sense. I totally understand this. But then the next problem is like slightly different. And instead of thinking it out, you look at the answer and you think, oh, okay, I see now what this is. I failed my first test because I did this. I did not challenge myself to think of how to solve the problems without the use of an answer sheet. So, here is my actually useful study method. Use your notes and use your book when you're getting the hang of a certain type of problem. But once you get the hang of that concept, try to solve those problems without any help. And if you do need help, don't look at the answer sheet, look at the book so that you understand that concept. Because if you rely on the answer sheets like I did, you're only going to know how that one specific problem works. So my OChem 2, yeah, this was organic chemistry 2. My OChem 2 professor put it really well. He said that you don't learn a new language by learning entire sentences. Because when you change the slightest detail, now none of it makes any sense. So doing it like this makes your homework more difficult at the time, and it does make homework take longer. But please believe me when I say that you waste so much more time if you are just aimlessly studying, or if you are just aimlessly memorizing problems. So you are doing yourself a favor in the long run when you do this instead. So these are the little things that helped me pass this god-awful class that sucks and is actually okay, it is fun. I'm gonna say it, it's fun. I had a lot of fun. It is a cool class and you do learn a lot, but it really is a test of a student's strength. Organic chemistry is often referred to as a weed out class, as in it weeds out the students that aren't dedicated enough to survive in a STEM major, which sounds super depressing, but keep in mind that People aren't plants, and you were not born a weed. And at the end of the day, the only thing that is keeping you firmly planted in that classroom is yourself. And honestly, I think it's okay to drop out of the class or fail the first time, because smart, dedicated students lose their footing all the time. And it does not mean you've been weeded out, and it does not mean you cannot do it. It is okay to try again when your schedule is more accommodating, or when you feel more prepared, or maybe when you just feel more confident to take the class. You can grow back up even stronger. OChem was the first class that ever really truly made me struggle. But I did it. And I'm stupid, so if I did it, that means you can too. I didn't realize until I hit record that I have 3 things. I really thought I had more written down on this topic. I wish I was Troom. So yeah, I know you've probably heard all this shit before. I'm not gonna lie. I just recorded this whole video and I was like, everybody's been told this every day of their life since sophomore year of high school. But I mean, this is what's gonna do it. Sometimes the most obvious solution is the correct one, and sometimes the dumbest sounding study tips are the ones that are actually gonna get your ass in class and passed. Hey, go to class. Oh shit, number 4. Go to class. Okay, so that's it. I will hear back from all of you in about, 6 or 7 months, when you tell me whether or not this worked for you and whether or not you passed. I do genuinely want to know. I'm worried about all of you. I ended on like such a sweet, nice note, and like it was like very cute, and I was like your mom, and it was like so sweet, but now I don't have an outro.